Brigden.
And I'm Steve Harris.
Welcome to the first ever episode of ImpactEd.
Over the next 6 months, we're going to bring you a series of episodes designed to step the principal through the School Excellence in Action cycle.
We're going to look at the cycle itself, we're going to take you through the situational analysis, and we're going to provide resources and advice along the way.
We're really excited. This is the best process the department's put forward to date. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
The ImpactEd series is not just for principals, it's for the entire school leadership team and stakeholders so that everyone can be equally involved in the process.
This graphic from the department, James, represents the 4 components of the planning process. Right at the moment, we're working in the situational analysis area, and we absolutely believe that this is the most important part of the planning process. Investing additional time in getting this component right will pay absolute dividends at the back end.
And for that reason, we're going to devote several episodes just to stepping through the situational analysis.
We'll bring you quality research, tools that will be of assistance, and hopefully some useful tips along the way. James, let's look at the quality elements that bring a plan together.
There are many responsibilities on principals' shoulders these days, and one of the things we hope to demonstrate in this series is that a well-researched, well-thought-out school plan will build those responsibilities into your day-to-day running.
We've highlighted the 8 most important elements as we see them, and we're going to take you through those one at a time. And if we start off with student voice, we've been absolutely deliberate in placing this first. Putting students at the centre of everything we do, making sure that they have a strong say in the development of the plan is going to be crucial to your success.
A policy framework is a lens that you can't ignore. Whenever you're planning anything, you should be looking at what the policy says about that and making sure that your design from the ground up is compliant with that.
The third element is research and innovation, and this has got me really excited. The new school planning process requires principals to dive in as part of their situational analysis to look at contemporary research and evidence the approach that they're going to take, and we're going to break that down, bring lots of current research as well as some tools that will help guide and shape your plan.
External validation is being labelled in this new process, and quite rightfully, explicitly linking to the school plan. So we will move to a future where the school plan is bookended by external validation, and it'll take us a while to spool into that operating rhythm, but the idea is your external validation informs your plan and then it informs the external validation at the end.
Student achievement and targets is the 5th element that we've highlighted. We've got our current school-based targets that conclude at 2022, whilst we know our plan runs from 2021 to 2024. So we're going to look at a process to extend those targets out, maintain that trajectory of improvement. We'll also highlight the success criteria that you're going to be looking for during the implementation phase of your planning process.
Community engagement, again, a really basic ground floor consideration in all school planning. Bringing your community in, building trust with them, building their understanding of where the school is going is of vital importance if you expect them to come on that journey with you.
Teacher capacity. We know that if we want to improve student results, it has to happen in the classroom. We have to invest in our people, and for us to do that effectively, we first need to know the most effective processes to be implementing, but then to look at the way to upskill our staff, to work with them and empower them to be the best that they can be.
And finally, resources. Schools have more money and resource availability than they ever have. So how do we make choices? How do we prioritise where to spend those resources? How do we make the most of the resources we have, including the people, our greatest resource, that work day to day within the walls of our schools? So these are the 8 most important considerations.
So now let's have a look and break down the difference between the old planning process and the new planning process.
And go.
We've had 2 iterations of the 5P planning process, and I'd like to recognise the work of Eric Jemison and Jerry McLaughlin, because the 5P plan was a significant step forward over what we'd previously used. That said, the School Improvement Plan, or the SIP, is a quantum leap forward. So let's have a look at the differences between the 5P and the SIP. And if I take care of the 5P, James, you might like to look at the SIP. So if we have a look at the very first section under the 5P process was the preamble, which included the vision statement for the school and a short context statement.
And there's no change at all in that part of the plan. The opening pages to the plan will be exactly the same as they were in the previous iteration.
The second part of the planning process was a situational analysis. Now that was very much left as a choose your own adventure for each principal. And there was a huge variation between the depth and breadth of that situational analysis and how it was conducted.
And in the new process, and as we've already called out, it's a mandated step, which we are particularly suggesting that you invest more time in. And so it's very clear about what aspects of your school to look at, and we will be assisting with that. But also, and most importantly, it's a section of the school plan that needs to be signed off by the DEL.
Okay, when we look at the plan structure, under 5Ps we had 3 strategic directions, then we broke it down into purpose, product, place, practice, I think process, I might have said that twice, but it was quite confusing in terms of the structure.
So in the new plan, we will still have 3 strategic directions. The language within those strategic directions will be a little bit more plain English. We'll be talking mainly about initiatives, but also that the first strategic direction for all schools will be student progress and attainment.
One of the key benefits with the 5P planning process was the monitoring that was conducted every 5 weeks. So a 5-weekly monitoring evaluation period was a significant change in practice.
And under the school improvement plan, Sparrow is still there for you to record your milestones in. There is a little more detail and a few more features within Sparrow that will assist with that process. And it actually guides you towards what sort of information to monitor as well.
And I'm really pleased to say that Sparrow has been greatly enhanced in terms of its functionality and usability, and I know that'll be greatly appreciated by every principal.
Okay, thank you, and that brings us almost to the end of our very first episode. We would like to take some time and just foreshadow the topics in no particular order that we'll be covering for the remainder of Term 3 and into Term 4.
So let's take a look. Our very first topic that we're going to explore is vision and context. Your school vision is the absolute foundation of the school plan, and it's critical that we help you get that absolutely right.
We will take at least 2 episodes, maybe more, to look specifically at your reading program and your numeracy programs and how to make an assessment of how close to the evidence base those programs are.
The School Excellence Framework gives rich information to schools, and too often it's left alone for 12 months until it's time to go out to do the SAS. We're going to look at innovative ways to use that to guide your school.
And attendance is inextricably linked with student performance, so we're going to take some time to take a deep dive into factors that affect attendance and how you might build attendance strategies into your school plan.
Looking at student wellbeing, and that includes student engagement, we're going to take a deep dive into the supportive processes that enhance student readiness for learning.
Community engagement is at the foundation of ownership of the school plan, so we're going to look at tools and strategies that will assist you when you're up to that part of the planning process.
When it comes time to write the plan, we're going to guide you and give you practical tips that make sure that you use your resources efficiently, but ultimately deliver you the highest quality plan possible.
And in the final phase, we want to bring some experts in, although we want to bring experts in throughout the series as well. But we will bring in experts to step you through getting milestones and mastery of the whole Sparrow platform.
Thank you for joining us in the first episode. Any feedback we'd be greatly welcoming. We hope that you'll click subscribe down below to make sure you don't miss the next episode. Look forward to joining you in future episodes as we embark on the journey together.
Thank you and goodbye.